Hey, real estate besties. Today is Tuesday, and around here, that means that we are answering your burning questions. Now, I don't care if it's about a deal that you're working, just a question on how to organize something in your business, or if you just want to dish with your good real estate bestie, I am here to answer your questions. Now, if you have a question, head on over to rosemarylewis.com/ask. And you will be able to leave a voicemail and I will answer your question on the podcast. Let's get into our question for today. What up, besties? Happy Tuesday and welcome to our weekly Q&A. So today we have a question from one of our besties in the Facebook group, and they want to know all about farming a neighborhood. It says, Rosemary, can you share anything about farming a neighborhood other than door knocking? So before I answer this question, I'm just going to say that farming a neighborhood is definitely a very lucrative way to get business, but I have to tell you, it is a long game. I think that sometimes literally, let's think about a farm, okay? Because I think that sometimes agents are under the impression, and I'm not saying that our bestie in the Facebook group is thinking this, but I just want to put this out here, right? I think that sometimes we think, hey, we can do one thing one time in a neighborhood and end up getting fruit from that neighborhood. So, we send out a just sold postcard, or we door knock, or we go and tell neighbors about the open house. And you think that you're going to do that one time, and all of a sudden you're going to get all of these potential buyers and sellers coming out of the woodworks wanting to work with you. But let's literally think about what happens on a farm. Now, I will be the first to tell you that, first of all, I don't have a green thumb in my real life. I have one plant that I have been keeping alive for the past 2 years, and I'm so proud of myself. And I don't know much about farming, but what I do know about farming is that the day you plant the seed is definitely not the day that you reap the harvest. So as we talk about farming, and I'm going to share with you my experience, because I will tell you that a dream of mine, if I only sold real estate right around the corner where I live, that would be a dream, right? I would work with every buyer if they want to buy right around down the street from my house. So I do appreciate the opportunity to sell where I live, and I definitely actively farm my neighborhood. But I want to let you all know that it is definitely a long game. It is a long game of planting those seeds. And then once you plant those seeds, continually going back to the same area and fertilizing and watering and nurturing those seeds that you have planted, as opposed to just sprinkling your seeds everywhere, right? If you sprinkle your seeds everywhere and never ever go back and nurture the seeds that you have planted, then that is a recipe for frustration and you won't have any crops, right? So when I think about my neighborhood where I live, I think about the very first thing in farming is, first you have to identify the area. Okay. So some people don't want to sell where they live. Some people, you grew up in a neighborhood and now you no longer live there. You have some familiarity with the area. It seems to be a lucrative area for you to farm. You have to identify, number one, I think, where your farm is, because again, I think that when it comes to farming an area, we have to be very, consistency is going to be the name of the game. And if you're just doing something one or two times, then we're not developing an opportunity for that rapport. Okay. So I will let you know, where I live, my very first action in farming where I lived, I moved into a new construction community, and literally we were within the first, I would say, somewhere between house number 20 and house number 40, right? So it was very, very new when we moved here. And I made sure, number one, my first quote unquote farming activity honestly was a neighborly activity. I started this thing in my neighborhood called a wine walk. And it was really cool because everyone at the time was pretty new to the neighborhood. I actually got this idea from another girlfriend. And the whole idea was that we picked one night, we would pick a Thursday night, and the moms or the ladies in the neighborhood, we would meet at the park at 8 p.m. and we would literally just walk around the neighborhood having whatever you want in your cup, like whether it was wine, whether it was anything else. And so what I did there, I didn't say Rosemary Lewis, real estate agent, is presenting wine. No, it was just like, hey, we're having this wine walk. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And the whole point of that was so that I could meet, number one, I really want to meet my neighbors, right? These are the people we're going to be doing life with. Our kids are going to be in school together. And, it was just kind of a way to break the ice. But we literally came. But what I will tell you is that when we had these wine walks, I made it my business to make sure that I talked to everybody, that I friended them on social media, that they knew, hey, I live in that house right there. And then also, hey, and by the way, I'm a real estate agent. I know you just built this house or bought this house, but when it's time for you to sell, if you know somebody want to live over here, I am your agent. I'm your girl. Like, I'm your homegirl for life. So that was one of my first ways that I started to farm my neighborhood. And then from that, you just continue. I feel like you just continue to show up. Now, what has showing up looked like for me? Definitely, it has looked like continuing to sponsor different neighborhood events. And when I say sponsor, yes, some of them have been monetary. Like, I have actually sponsored, the bounce house or the popsicles at the 4th of July parade or something like that. But some of them is just literally like waving my hand and say, hey, it might be really cool if we all go to the pool at this time after dark when the kids are out so that we can get to know each other, right? Or something like that. I can think of one time we had a freeze here in Texas and I had a whole bunch of Girl Scout cookies. Like, honestly, I just really wanted to help my niece. I wanted her to win. So I bought an insane amount of Girl Scout cookies. And I literally was like hunking my neighbors down and just passing out Girl Scout cookies to them just to say, hey, thank you for being great neighbors, right? Another way to farm your neighborhood is if you already are not an active member of the Facebook page. First of all, if there isn't a Facebook page for your neighborhood, you can create it. But if you're not already an active member, become an active member. Become one of those people. Like, the whole thing is that you want consistent name recognition, right? You want to be the one that is sharing both market activity in the neighborhood. Like, I remember once I put up a post in our neighborhood like, hey, I am doing home equity reports for those of you who just got your tax assessments. If you would like a home equity report, click this link and I'll be able to help you out. So something as simple as that to, just being resourceful. Like, hey, did y'all know that Five Guys opened up the street? And like a picture of me with my burger. So I am very active in the Facebook group because I want my neighbors to recognize me. And as our neighborhood has continued to grow, Facebook has been a very integral part. One thing that I'm doing here real soon that I'm really excited about is I do have mailers. So I'm sending out mailers like bi-monthly to the neighborhood. But like the way that I send out mailers is not necessarily to give market knowledge, but like, so for instance, every Halloween I do in my driveway, I might get, like last year, I got some little crafts from Oriental Trading. And I just said, hey, before, like in Texas, we don't trick or treat until it's dark outside. So you have that time in between getting out of school till it gets dark where the kiddos are really, really excited. So I invite my neighbors to come to my driveway and do a little craft, right? One year we made cookies. Last year we did literally some stick and peel like bookmarks. And again, another opportunity for me to stand in front of them and for them to get to know you. So these are some of the ideas. I want to just say the big idea is to consistently fertilize, consistently water the plants, consistently water the seeds, because I'm giving you the things that I'm doing that are not necessarily real estate related, but you better believe every time I get a listing in the neighborhood, I'm inviting them to the open houses. They're seeing my signage. I am sponsoring the local neighborhood school so that, when the school is having a fair, those parents who may have seen my signs in the neighborhood or they've seen me on Facebook but haven't met me in person, there's going to be an opportunity for them to see me at the actual school fairs and different things like that. So the biggest thing, again, is I want you to think about it as the fact that it is a long game and you don't always have to spend money. You literally, people are so hungry for connection. So you can look to see how you are going to connect. Now, I understand that this may be a little different if it's not your neighborhood where you are actually living, but some of the different things can apply. If it wasn't a neighborhood where I actually live, I would probably be proactively, number one, if there are any listings in the neighborhood that I would like to farm or work at, I would reach out to those listing agents to see what are the opportunities for me to do open houses, right? And I probably would door knock those open houses, right? So that I can get neighbors to come, giving them a preview hour. And then maybe I'm sending out mailers every other month to those neighbors, to those homeowners that live in that neighborhood. So, it definitely, I'm telling you, it's not a quick overnight fix, but what I love more than anything, like I've had neighbors that, I'll wake up in the morning, I get off social media every day about 7 or 8 o'clock, and I'll wake up in the morning and some neighbor has said, hey, who's the real estate girl? Who's the home girl in our neighborhood? I don't remember her name. And then like everyone is tagging me, and then I have an opportunity to support that person if we're a good fit. So I hope this was helpful. And besties, hey, tell me if you have some ideas of how you are farming and standing out amongst the crowd. Go ahead and tag me on social media, Rosemary the Realtor. Take a screenshot of this podcast. Look, I couldn't even get the words out. Take a screenshot of where you are listening right now. Tag me on social and tell me, how are you farming, so that we can compile, and I'll reshare that to my stories, and then we can compile all of that to our besties who are just looking for different ways to stand out and not blend in. All right, besties, talk to you soon. Oh, and if you have a question, you get to send it to me at rosemarylewis.com/ask. Okay, bye.